The best thing that you can do with pasta is turn it into a dessert. That or putting an egg in it. Hi, I'm here. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do a little segment called What's in My Pantry. This is where I take whatever ingredients I have on hand and turn them into something hopefully delicious. Usually when I make this segment, I like to theme it around a certain cuisine or type of dish. But today I really just wanted to make whatever I felt like making. And so I opened up my pantry and fridge and just kind of saw what I had. I have some pasta. I got a block of Wagyu that I bought from my local Asian market and I've never worked with before. So today we're going to try to figure it out. Let's do it. I really like the look of this dried pasta. It's a pappardelle, which is kind of like a wider fettuccine. It would probably be really good with a rich fatty sauce. Since I'm working with beef, I figured I could get away with a little bit of nutmeg. I grated about half of the nutmeg of this tiny little tube that I have. The other half I save for my pumpkin pie in December. Whenever I make a big batch of pasta, I like to cook it in 2 portions. Not only does this keep the pasta from getting soggy, but it also helps prevent a huge spike in your blood sugar. I bring the water to a boil and then add a generous amount of salt. Once the water is boiling again, I add the pasta and set a timer for 8 minutes. While the pasta is cooking, let's work on our sauce. To tenderize the Wagyu, I'm gonna pound it with the flat side of my knife. While it may be easier to cut the Wagyu against the grain if it were raw since it's frozen, it's actually much safer to cut it this way. If you cut across the grain when meat is frozen, it's much harder to do and the knife is much more likely to slip. Now that it's all one sheet, I'm gonna roll it up like a burrito and then slice it into thin strips. These will be way too long for our pasta, so we'll cut them down to size later. After the first 4 minutes of cooking, I reserve about a cup of the pasta water and then drain the pasta. Now let's get these strips of Wagyu into our hot pan on low heat. We just want to lightly toast them so they lose a little bit of their raw flavor. After about a minute, I deglaze the pan with a little bit of red wine. You don't need to use any more than about 1 to 4 cups because we'll be adding in the reserved pasta water later. Next, pour in a generous amount of Parmesan cheese. You could use the finely grated stuff, but I like using the real deal because it has a better texture and flavor. But if you don't have a good Parmesan cheese, then by all means, please use the stuff that you have. A little goes a long way. After about 2 more minutes, add in the cooked pasta and toss it to coat. At this point, I adjust the seasoning with black vinegar and some soy sauce. Black vinegar is made by cooking down rice vinegar until it's super concentrated. It has a really nice rich flavor that's not just sweet like regular rice vinegar, it's also got some nice acidity to balance out the richness of the dish. Soy sauce adds a nice savory saltiness. It's essentially fermented broad beans and wheat. I find that a little bit of soy sauce goes a really long way in adding a lot of flavor to a dish. Now let's plate this up. I'm using these cute little bowls that I picked up from a store. They're oven safe, which makes them perfect for serving pasta. I like serving this with a little bit of extra Parmesan cheese or maybe a pinch of flaky sea salt. And there you have it, a simple, delicious, easy weeknight meal. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of What's in My Pantry. If you did, please leave a like. It helps me out a lot. Also, please subscribe and follow me on social media. I'll see you next time. Bye.